Hey, how's it guys? Alright, so in this tutorial, we're going to dive into how to use AWS Textract API in Python. So AWS Textract API is equivalent to Azure's Document Intelligence API or Google's Document AI. And throughout this tutorial, I'll cover how to get started with using the API in Python, as well as showing you 6 different examples to cover the most commonly used cases. So I'll be showing you how to extract text from the image or PDF file, as well as extracting pages of contents from a textbook or a book. And we'll also perform some sentiment analysis in entities extraction. Now, if I'm in the medical field, I'll also go over how to use the medical entities detection function in the API. And finally, we'll extract values from a form and tables from a form into a data frame. And also, if you're interested, you can also use the built-in console or built-in platform to experimenting the functionalities of the Textract API. So here we can do things like we can extract the raw text, and layout is basically extracting contents from different boxes. So if we look at the results, we have figure, which is the image right here, headers, text, session headers, and so on. And forms will be extracting key value pairs. So for example, if we look at this form right here, we have different fields like department, check number, pay dates, and so on. Then we have tables. Now this document here doesn't do a very good job when it comes to extracting a table because there's no table really building in this form. And queries is basically asking a question regarding of the document. So for instance, what's the year-to-date gross pay from the document here? Now, this is going to be related to generative AI, in which I'll cover in a separate video because you can actually go into a very in-depth detail in terms of how to use the queries functionality. And also have signature detection, in which you can detect a signature in a form or an image. So signatures and raw text, they actually work very similar together. So I might cover signatures along with raw text. Now, that's everything I want to cover from AWS console. I want to dive into the tutorial. All right, so first I want to cover the pricing because pricing is a little bit tricky when it comes to using Textract API. Now, fortunately, Textract has a free tier. In your account, if you have never used Textract API, then you get 3 months of free usage up to 1,000 pages per month for the detection document text API, and 1,000 pages for the analyze document API for the signature only feature. And everything else is going to be 100 pages per month. Custom queries is basically training your own models, and which I'll cover in a separate video. Then we have other models, expense API, analyze ID API, in which you also get 100 pages of usage for free per month. And finally, we have the lending API usage, which is 2,000 free usage per month for the first 3 months once you start using the API. And once you pass the free tiers trial period, and these are the costs based on different feature. So for queries, it's going to be $15 per 1,000 pages for the first 1 million pages. And after you exceed that usage, you get a discount for $10 per 1,000 pages. And you can apply that logic for other features. Forms is going to be the most expensive API, which come down to $50 per 1,000 pages. Now, in my opinion, I think Azure's Document Intelligence API is still cheaper, but I found that AWS Textract API is really easy to use. And I was a little bit surprised on how easy the API is when it comes to usability, and which I'll show you in a second. And here we have lending API, which is going to cost you $70 per 1,000 pages. And expense API is going to be $10. Analyze ID API is going to be $25. All for the first 1 million pages. in each month. All right, so I think that's going to be everything I'm going to cover for the pricing. And I'll link the link in the description below. You can also check out the pricing on your own. Now I want to talk about the permissions that you will need to use the API. All right, so let's go into AWS console. And let's go into IAM. All right, so let's go into policies. Now, there are two permissions that you will need in actually not a policy. And we go into users. All right, so here click on add permissions. Now go into attach policies directly. And to use the Textract API, you can either use Amazon Textract full access permission. And I think the second policy has some limitation. And for demonstration purpose, I'll be adding the Amazon Textract full access permission to my user account. And that's going to be for the permissions. Now let's dive into the Python script development. But first we need to install the packages. Now there are three packages that I'll be using for this lesson. One is Bodo3, which is the official AWS Python package. And to draw the bounding box, I'll be using Payloads library. Then we have this Textract API Python package. So this package is created by AWS. If we just do a quick Google search, if we look at the package description, the library is used to simplify the Textract results parser or TRP module package and improve for ease of use. Now let's go ahead and install the packages. And that covers Python packages. Now we're going to dive into the examples. All right, so here I'm going to create 5 files. Demo 1, 2, all the way to 5. And let me launch my VS Code. All right, so here I prepare some documents. Now here we notice that everything here in my documents folder, all of the files are image files. The reason why is because if we want to upload a PDF file, then you need to upload the PDF file to S3. And also cover how to process PDF document from S3. All right, so for example 1, in which we are going to extract text from the image. Now right here I have a screenshot. And in the screenshot, I want to extract every single text that is presented in this screenshot here. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also want to draw the bounding box to tell me where the text is coming from. All right, so here we're going to import the Python packages. Now here's saying that my Bodo3 and Payloads package didn't get installed. All right, so let me run the script. Oh, I see, I'm using the wrong environment. Okay, so that fixed the issue. All right, so from the import statement, I'm going to import the path class to create a reference to my documents folder. Then from Payloads library, I'm going to import image draw, and image font to insert the bounding box and the annotation. Then we need to import Bodo3 to access AWS API. Now here using Bodo3.client, I need to specify the API that I want to use. Then I want to create my directory reference where my documents are located. Then I'm going to create my document file path. And to upload a file, we need to convert the file as a byte array object. So here we need to use the open function to open the document file. Then we need to use bytes array function to convert the binary into byte array object. And I'll name the output as document bytes. And throughout the tutorial, you'll see me using this code block almost extensively. Now, to process the document, we're going to reference the Textract client object. And from there, we'll be using the document text method. And to upload the file, so we need to insert a dictionary object, and we need to set the key to bytes. Then we need to provide document bytes array object as the file source. Now, if I go ahead and run this code block, and if I print the response, and it's going to be the output that we're going to see. So this is a bunch of dictionary objects, and each dictionary contains different key value pairs. Now, to make sense of this output right here, so first we need to iterate each block from the response object. So let's go back. If I print response blocks, and it's going to return a list. And from there, you have different block type. And for text extraction, you have, you have word and line. But in most cases, you'll be locating the line block type. So for example, if I run the loop, and let me put the screenshot and the code editor side by side. The API will simply print the text blocks that is synced, it belongs together. So for example, we have what were equals to, which reference this line here. So this is going to be treated as a single line, followed by upgrade to line, and that's going to be treated as a separate line. Now, if we want to draw a bounding box to select the corresponding text, so this is going to be my method to create a bounding box using Pillars library. So if we look at this code block right here, so first we need to open the image as a image pillow object. And to insert the annotation, I need to use image draw function. Then I need to define the font style for the text. And here we have text color and the outline border color. Then I'm going to grab the image width and image height using image.size. And once I have those properties, I can create the logic to draw the bounding box. So if we look at the items object, every single record has this geometries property. So we have things like width, height, left or top value, and also have XY coordinates. So basically you have two options to draw the borders. And for me, I prefer using the width, height, left, and top values. And once I normalize the left, top, width, and height values, I can basically draw the border. Followed by, I want to insert the annotation text above the bounding box. Now we can display the image. So image.show. Now if I go ahead and rerun this loop, actually I'll run everything from here. And here's the outcome. Now let's go into example 2. So for example 2, let's use let's use this image right here. So in this image, I have 2 pages of text, page 68 and page 69. And for this exercise, I want to extract both pages and return the text blocks sorted by the page number. All right, so let me change the file name. The setups are going to be the same. And I don't need this one here. And even the method is the same, detect document text. Now with the Textract API, it's going to automatically recognize that from this image, I have 2 columns of text. So here I'm going to create 2 empty lists. One is going to be storing the columns information, and the other one is going to be lines. So here again, I'm going to iterate each block, and I'm only interested in line block. Inside the if block, I'm going to create a flag to check if the column indicator is present. Then have this procedure, basically will check. Actually, let's go back to the first step. So first, I'm going to calculate the center of the current column. And if the center is greater than the left column, as well as if the right column is greater than the center, then we know the content has 2 columns of information. Then I'm going to set the column font flag to true. Then I'm going to append the text to the lines list. We're going to append the text from the first column, assuming that for a single page, there will only be 1 column available. And once we append all the line blocks to the lines list, we first need to sort by the index. So here the index is going to be the page number. Then we can print each line from each page, from page 68 to page 69. So if I go in the run everything, actually let's do this. I'm going to run everything from scratch. So I'll run the script. Now here we have page 68, which is this section right here. Then we have page 69, which is going to be this section right here. And the image quality also determines the accuracy. So here we notice that the page number is somewhere got inserted inside the text. So just keep in mind that the API doesn't always return the correct results. All right, so that's going to be example 2. Now let's cover example 3, which is to perform a sentiment detection and entity extraction. Now, if I'm new to sentiment analysis, sentiment detection is basically assess the positivity of a text block. And the entities extraction will basically extract anything that looks like a product name, company name, and so on. And to perform sentiment analysis, so first we need to extract the text. And for this example, I'll be using this screenshot I took from Amazon's, I think it was one of the iPhone's 11's review. So the first thing we need to do here is we need to extract the text from the image. And to perform sentiment analysis and entity detection, we also need to use a different API service called Comprehend. So here let me go ahead and extract the text from the image. Now if I print the lines, so we have the user's name, review title, the product specs, like the storage size, color, service providers, and so on. Then we have the review itself. And once we have the reviews in text box, we can reference comprehensive client instance that detect sentiment. I'm going to specify the language code to English. Then I'm going to supply the text. So if I go in the run this code block, and we get a negative, which means that the review is most likely not good. And to detect the entities, we can use the detect entities method, and the parameters are the same. And from the entities response, we can iterate the entities key to return anything that represents an entity, so such as the user's name, in which will be under organization, location, dates, quantity, and so on. And iPhone 11 is on the commercial item. All right, so 3 more examples to go, and those should go pretty fast. Now, for the next example, we're going to detect medical entities. So here I prepared a screenshot that looks like this. And we have different supplements, ingredients in this screenshot. For this example, so everything's going to be identical to example 3, except that for the Comprehend API, we'll be using Comprehend Medical as the service endpoint. And for the Comprehend Medical endpoint, so API, now instead of type, we have text, type, category, and traits. Oh, and name. So if I run the script, and let's look at the output. And we have a completely different result set from the Comprehend API. So the first line is going to be the text, which represents the ingredient. Then we have the medical type, I guess, followed by medical category. And if traits is presented, it should have the trait name under the name key. And for this screenshot, I don't think we have any trace information. Now let's cover example 5. I think this one is actually one of the most important example in this lesson. I'll be using the Textract custom module called TRP. So from TRP, we're going to import the document class. All right, so here let's look at the image that we'll be using. And it will be on the employment form, this one here. Now, if we look at the form here, we have different fields: position title, grades, vaccine announcement number, and a couple other fields. So here I'm going to define the file path, as well as creating the Textract client instance. Then I'm going to load the file as a bytes array object. Now, if your document is a PDF file, then like I mentioned it before, you need to upload the PDF file to a S3 bucket first. And in that case, you need to define your document path in this format. You need to use S3 object followed by the bucket name and the file path. And for the feature types, you need to set that to forms. And to process the document, I'm going to use the terminology document. Now this time we need to use a different method called analyze document method. So here I'm going to upload my file. In this case will be an image. Then I'm going to set the feature types to forms. Now because you can specify multiple features like tables and forms, so that's why we need to wrap the features name in a list. Now let me go ahead and run the code block. and I'll print the response. So as you can see that the output doesn't look very nice. And it's going to be a little bit tricky to organize the information. And that's why AWS decided to create a custom library called TRP. So basically, we just need to pass the response to the documents class. And I'll name the output as doc. And from there, we'll iterate each page from the doc object. I'm actually going to insert another loop to show you that separately. But if we look at this loop right here, it's pretty self-explanatory. So first of all, iterating each page from the document. Now, if your document has multiple pages, then you're going to iterate multiple pages. And from each page, we have different fields. And we can reference the fields by using page.form.fields. Then we can return the key value pairs. Now, if you're only interested in certain fields, so we can define a key. So for example, I'm only interested in phone number field. So from page.form, we can use the get field by key function. It will pass the lookup key. Now, if I want to search a field by wildcard, so for example, I want to return all the fields that contains the keyword address. In this case, I can use the search fields by key function, and I'll pass the lookup key. So let me go ahead and run the first loop. Actually, I need to create the doc object. Then I'll run the first loop. And these are all the key value pairs that are presented or not presented, are detached in the document. Now, any field that is left blank, then it's going to return none. But for checkboxes, it's going to be either selected or not selected. So by using these two keywords, we can figure out the field is a checkbox. And to get just the phone number field, it's not return anything because this field name. So the field name needs to be exact. So we have phone number, capital case, followed by a colon. And if we look at the form here, the field name phone numbers is a little bit different from the key that we defined here. But for the wildcard search, and it's going to return the email address and the current address because both field names contain the keyword address using the wildcard search. Now, if I want to perform a reduction, which is to mask off the information. So for example, now let's say I want to mask off the address field for both email address and current address. And again, I'm going to open the image using payload's image class. Then I'm going to get the file's width and height. Now here, the if statement is going to check if the pages contains anything. And for this demonstration, I'm only going to show the first page. So basically, you can iterate each field. If both the field key and field values are presented, then we're going to check the keyword address. It's in the field key. Now, if this condition is met, then we know this field contains any highly sensitive information that I want to cross off. Now, this time I'm going to use the XY coordinates to show you how to mask out the information. So from field.value.geometry.bounding-box.left, I'm going to multiply the x coordinate by the width. And for the y1 coordinate, I'm going to reference the top value times height minus 2. And these two are going to be x2 and y2 coordinates. Then I'm going to create a draw object. Then I'm going to draw a rectangle based on these 4 points. Then I'm going to fill the field in black. So now if I run the code block here, it's going to mask off both current address and email address. Now we're going to go into the last example, which is to extract tables from a form into a data frame. Now, getting the tables into a pandas data frame is actually not too bad using Textract API. Oh, so I actually forgot to install pandas, and we do that right now. Right, so if we look at the analyze document method, now instead of setting the feature to forms, I'm going to set that to tables. And we go ahead and create the response. Then I'm going to construct the doc object. All right, so if we go ahead and print the doc object. Oh, and I forgot to show you the source image invoice. So from this invoice here, we have a table right in the middle. Now, because these 5 boxes also look like a table to the API, it's going to return those informations back into the response. So we have, so if we look at the response, actually, yeah, not my give up. So here, if we want to convert the tables into a data frame object, so first we need to create empty list. Then we need to iterate each page from the document. Then we can use the tables attribute to check how many tables are present from each page. And here we can iterate each table from the tables attribute. Then we need to iterate each row from the table. And within each row, we have individual cells. Now, if you ever worked with Excel before, then you know we have columns, rows, and cells. And this line here is basically putting each cell together into a single list. And that list represents a row of data. Then we need to append the row to the table data list. And once we have all the rows, we can pass the table data to PD.data frame to create the data frame object. So let me do that right now. And I'll print df. And we now have a table that represents every single row from the first page because my document only has 1 page. So we have every single row from this invoice document. And my target table is going to be the table right in the middle with the item description, quantity, rates, and amount. Now, if we look at the data frame object, we just need to do some data cleanup. So one approach is that we can look for the keyword, then return the row index. So this is going to be the starting point, and we'll do the same for the end index. So this is going to be the row index we want to end the extraction. Then we just need to slice the data set. So let me go ahead and create the invoice item table object, and that's going to be a data frame. So if I print invoice item table, and this is what we have right now. And to transform the table, we just need to make headers as the first row. And everything else is going to be the data set. And that's where these 2 lines come from. And I'll print invoice item table. And that will turn the table in a data frame that will represent my product description line item in the middle. All right, so I think that basically covers the entire lesson. And I hope you guys find this video useful. And feel free to post your question or your feedback in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.